pretty surprising because whenever I saw this fight got made, I was originally like, Peter Yan's going to walk through Uriah Faber. I don't like this matchup. But I've been thinking about it a lot more, and I have no reason to do this, outside of really Jan's last fight, where he kind of walked into two Jimmy Rivera overhands, and got knocked down twice. I believe he got knocked down twice in that fight. But I know John Dodson hurt him. I'm picking Uriah for the upset. I don't know why. I don't know. I could be the Simone win, but I'm doing it, man. I'm taking Uriah Faber.
This is definitely his toughest opponent, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Uriah's riding a two-fight win streak, and
in 3 years.
Yeah, in 3 years, but.
You know what's crazy though? The fight before his 2-win streak, he lost to Jimmy Rivera. So it's kind of funny how you brought that up.
Well, Jimmy Rivera is kind of a different fighter now than he was whenever he faced Uriah, and I don't really want to get into this because there's no point really talking about Jimmy Rivera.
Because he's not here now.
He's not, but after he got knocked out by Marias, he's became way more like gun shy. He hasn't really thrown a whole lot, which is why I'm surprised at the Jan fight he got hurt twice.
What's up, man? I don't know. Dude, you're talking about a great grappler. The number of fights, like it's. And they put Canelo on Peter, Josh. Is Uriah Floyd in this situation and Peter's Canelo?
Man, I really think definitely, man. That's it.
Shit, I mean, it's definitely not like it's not an exact comparison, but the intention is similar. Let's put it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're putting the 26-year-old guy against 40-year-old veteran, face people who are retired at this point, still can kick your ass guy in there. So it makes sense. And I mean, dude, Uriah won by a knockout. He could have probably easily submitted Ricky, because Ricky doesn't have better grappling than Uriah. I mean, I think that's a fact, right? Pretty sure he's like one belt less than him. I'm pretty sure I brought that up last time. I thought Uriah was going to submit him, do some crazy shit on him just to take advantage of him, because he's a younger guy, less experienced, so he probably wouldn't be able to deal with that kind of on-ground pressure.
Yeah, no, definitely I agree. I think that, I don't know, man. Uriah, he just looks better since coming back. It's the one thing I can explain. He looks physically better. He hasn't gone through the pain of 3 training camp, tons of training camps every single year. He took that time off, and sometimes that's all people need. That time off.
Facts in any sport.
Yeah, and you got that time off. He looks reinvigorated. He looks stronger. And like I said, I don't know how he'll do it, but I've never been a big Peter Yan guy, and that could be my problem. I've just never been super impressed by the guy. He has a couple of really good wins, but I don't know, man. I'm pulling Uriah for the upset.
It's a good test, though. This is a good test for him. I think this will definitely put him at where he's at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, just with that, should make for a good fight.
Definitely. Just to be clear, who you got for that one?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna take the veteran here, the boy Uriah. Dude, just last fight, I got it, man.
All right, and now to move on to Jose Aldo, who surprisingly made weight this morning at 136 pounds. He looked like Skeletor all week long, but he ended up doing it. He made the weight. Didn't look too bad outside of his face and legs, but there's not even a little bit of body fat on that man. Yeah, man, he looks shredded. Taking on Marlon Moraes. Obviously, Moraes coming off of that tough knockout loss to Henry Cejudo in the main event of UFC 238 a couple months ago. That fight was a banger, and before that, he was riding a 4-fight winning streak. Listen, man, I've gone back and forth on this fight a lot, and to me, it's really, really hard to tell, because Moraes, if there's one knock on him, he's a guy that breaks if things don't go his way. The Cejudo fight's probably the best example. Because once he couldn't get Cejudo out of there, he kind of panicked, gassed out, and then ended up getting finished on the ground. But I don't know, man. I think the number one thing here is how big of a weight cut, how big the weight cut plays into this. Because if although it's even slightly compromised, and he's going in there and fighting a guy with the knockout power of Marlon Moraes, I think he gets slept.
You think it'd be like a comfort thing, how he feels with the weight, more or less? How he adjusts?
Pretty much. I also think the Volkanovski fight, I see a lot of people, and I really don't like to undermine a person who won's like performance or whatever. I don't want to do that. I'm not that type of guy, but like the Volkanovski fight, Volkanovski got a lot of credit for neutralizing all those game, but he really just kind of, although threw 60 strikes the whole fight, there's not a whole lot to fucking neutralize, you know what I mean? He was really, really gun-shy facing him, and I really hope that he's not gun-shy here, because if he's gun-shy here, Marlon Moraes is going to make him pay really bad.
Shit. He's going to have flashbacks to the Conor fight.
I don't know, man, because the difference between that is that Moraes is going to be slamming a left head kick. That's what he's going to be doing.
That's what's up.
I don't know. I think I'm taking Moraes here. Back and forth, I'm taking Moraes.
Oh, then I can't even blame you. I'll take Marlon as well, bro. Like, it's a freakish situation because it's definitely like, I think when it comes to weight and being comfortable with the weight, it's like a big deal in a fighting sport, in any combat sport. Being comfortable in your own body is like everything. And if he's not comfortable here, he's not. It's gonna be hard for him. And since we haven't seen him fight at this weight, I can't make that judgment already, like knowing that information beforehand. So I'm gonna take on the factor like you are of him adjusting to this weight. Whereas Marlon's already been here, so Marlon will be obviously comfortable there, and we've seen his hills, all the talents there. So, I think we'll be safe with the choice. It's just a matter of seeing how Jose performs tonight. Well, not tonight, but tomorrow night. Yeah.
Well, with that, we move to the first title fight of 3, and for most people, this is probably, of the 3 title fights, I'm pretty sure this is the most straightforward one that people are predicting. Amanda Nunes taking on Germaine de Randamie for the women's bantamweight title. Obviously, Amanda Nunes widely considered the greatest women's fighter of all time. These two fought in 2013 with Amanda Nunes completely steamrolling Germaine. But Germaine, since then, she won the UFC featherweight title in a controversial fight with Holly Holm. I thought Holly won regardless. On the record shows she got the win. She knocked out Aspen Ladd. She beat Raquel Pennington. She's riding a 5-fight win streak. I think she gets finished. I don't know, man. Okay, listen, I think Germaine can provide a lot of problems here that people aren't really anticipating. A lot of people just hate Germaine, so they don't think she's going to have anything to offer. But Germaine de Randamie's a legit women's fighter. On the feet, she is so good. She's so legit. I don't think it really matters, though. I think Amanda Nunes right now, she's hit her stride. She has power in her fists. I think that she can take her down. If there's one knock on Germaine, it's been her takedown defense. I think that she might take her down and just stop her there, or she can just beat her up on the feet and possibly get the TKO maybe. I don't know, man. I'm taking Nunes here.
But the women's GOAT, Josh, riding a fat-ass win streak for, the last 4 years now? Soon to be 5.
Yeah, she hasn't lost since 2015, man. That's crazy. She's been champ for 3 years. Over 3 years. That's crazy.
Takes talent to do that, man, and talent it is, because that's what she's got. It's not going to end here, dude. It's not going to end here, let me tell you that. She's going to keep riding that wave until age just hits her, or until someone just unexpected comes into the picture. But for now, she's still with it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just feels like yesterday that Nunes was knocking out, Ronda Rousey. Or maybe it's just me.
Dude, no, you're right. It seems like it wasn't that, I could imagine, that in my head not being that long ago, but it's been a while now since that happened. That's old news. But it doesn't feel old.
Yeah. But I just want to get, what is your official prediction?
Oh, dude, Amanda, be a fucking finish, bro. I don't see this shit going to a scorecard.
Alright, that's fair enough. So for the most part, the only pick we've actually been decisive on was Jeff Neal and Mike Perry, but now we're getting into the co-main. Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski. I've thought a lot about this fight, and it's probably, of all Max's title defenses, I think this is definitely the one that kind of has me not really scared, but kind of questioning what he's going to do. because he's facing a guy that, he's streaking right now, and he's so strong, and he's also, we haven't really seen much out of him. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen him in a couple of, decision wins. We've seen him beat up Darren Elkins. We saw him TKO Chad Mendez in a war. But the only super high-level fights he's had against Jose Aldo, who threw about 59 strikes the whole fight, and Chad Mendez, where he got tagged and nearly finished, came back, and now basically just outlasted Chad Mendez, who notoriously has bad cardio. I don't know, man, there's just not a whole lot at the super high level to take away from Volkanovski, but in a way that really works for him. But also, man, I think Max Holloway right now is, I don't want to say unbeatable, because I think that as far as title defenses go, like he defended against Aldo, Ortega, and Edgar. I definitely think this is going to be his toughest one, but I still think he's going to get the win. I think he's much bigger, he's much taller, and a lot of people are like, technically speaking, Volkanovski has a 2-inch reach, but also Max has incredibly wide shoulders, which kind of explains his kind of shorter length of arms, but still, he's still taller, so he's going to have the advantage there. His takedown defense is great. He's in the prime of his career right now. I think the blessed era continues on Saturday night.
Dude, no, definitely, dude. I don't think we've seen the best out of Volkanovski, you know what I mean? I think this will bring the best out of Max and Volkanovski, you know what I mean? I think it'll be regarding, like, on both ends, adjusting to the fight, dude. You know what I mean? Adjusting to each other. Because, and I think Alex probably has more information on Max in a way, but Max doesn't have the full story for Alex, because, Alex has fought a catch weight, moved up and down in weight class, and I don't think we've seen everything out of him yet. Because, dude, the guy has jiu-jitsu that's really good, and I don't even think we've seen the best of that yet. He can crack guys. We've seen the cracking happen. But it's like, how good does he get? And I think that's what we got to see tonight, at least for me, when it comes to this fight.
I know he has a great team around him, and I know he has a great trainer. And if there's one thing that I really hope they're not doing this, but just seeing what his camp's been saying, I saw, like, his head trainer say that there's nothing that Max does that Volkanovski's not better at. I saw that, like, Volkanovski, he's a nice guy who's like, I'm Max Holloway's nightmare, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm like, man, I really hope they're not overlooking Max Holloway. Because if you overlook Max Holloway, that's going to be a death sentence.
Oh, without a doubt, that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be like, who brings out the best out of the other in a way, you know what I mean? Who does the most, you know what I mean? Like, what does Volkanovski really have against this high-level person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to do it for me. How much he brings out of himself to give to Max, rather than what he's already given to us. Like, he needs that one more bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Can he push Max, beyond where he's been? Can he take him to the ground constantly, and get around that takedown D? Can he crack him more? Can he find those openings more? I just want to see that more than anybody has before.
I definitely agree. I think this is definitely going to bring the best out of both guys.
Yeah.
But to get your final prediction, who do you got in the co-main?
Dude, I gotta go with my confident answer. I mean, I see what Max has, and I'm aware of that. Like you said, the blessed era does not end, my guy.
Not right now.
Ohana means family, Josh.
And now we go to the main event. This fight has been highly anticipated for a long time. These guys have real beef, which in my opinion is the best beef. Obviously, Colby Covington's playing a character, but he's still a disgusting display of humanity. Colby Covington is the only person I'll blast in MMA. I understand he's playing a character, but whenever you do stuff like poke fun at Kamaru Usman's dead head coach, and the point to where his daughters have to step in and tell you to stop, and you proceed to don't, you're a piece of shit. I don't give a shit what character you're playing, you're a bad person. But regardless of him being a bad person, he's still legit as it gets in the welterweight division. Wins over Robbie Lawler, Rafael Dos Anjos, Damian Maia, Jung Hae-young Kim, Mike Pyle even in there. The guy is legit, and the win over Lawler was so impressive. We've never seen Robbie Lawler dominated the way that Colby Covington did to him. And listen, man, it's hard for me to pick this one because their fighting styles are so similar. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people might call Colby Covington boring, or they might call Usman boring, and they're a Colby fan. but that requires such a small amount of self-awareness because their fighting styles are extremely similar. They both have a game plan of throw a high volume amount of strikes, tire you out. They both never get tired, which is ironic because I saw Colby was calling Kamaru out for EPO, and now his fans are saying Kamaru's on EPO, which is funny because they both never get tired. Like, they have the same thing. They're pretty much the same style of fighter, and they both have the same attributes.
One's white, one's black, one's shorter, one's taller.
I mean, pretty much, but in the style of fighting, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And even their opponents are also super similar. You know what I mean? Like, I believe Warley Alvarez, Damian Maia, Rafael dos Anjos. They have like 3 or 4 main opponents.
Dude, in the background, I like the background, like, family-wise. I'm talking, like, wrestling-wise and, like, all of that. Not necessarily similar, but they went through college with it. They performed through it. You know, they gone through that. It's actually wild.
Yeah, man. To me, I look to this fight to see a couple things. Is Kamaru going to fight angry? Because if Kamaru fights angry, that can entirely either play into his own game plan, because Kamaru can fucking crack. Like, I understand he typically doesn't, but he dropped Damian Maia and almost finished him. He almost finished Woodley. He knocked out Sergio Moraes and made him faceplant. The guy's got a lot of power, but we forget that because he only has 1 knockout win in the UFC. But he cracks guys. Whenever he squares up and puts all of his power into a punch, he can turn the lights out. We've never seen Colby rocked, but also Kamaru's going to be much, much bigger in there. Colby's a guy who notoriously doesn't really cut weight. He probably cuts like 10 pounds at most for fights. He's a very small welterweight. Also, neither guy really gets tired, so it's kind of hard to tell on that front. I think Kamaru's bigger. I think he's stronger. I think he has more punching power. I like his striking more. Colby's striking is kind of the idea of throwing everything out the window. Like, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at a guy. It doesn't really matter how much power there is on it. Like, he kind of just throws everything in hopes that you'll tire out. Kamaru's a guy that does similar stuff, but whenever he squares up and throws that punch, we know he has a lot of power. I'm taking Kamaru. He's going to be a very boring decision.
Oh, yeah, and you're so right. This is not going to be a fun fight to watch in a way. But I think
which people are forgetting.
Well, but it can be fun. It can be fun if you appreciate the style, which, I mean, a lot of people don't. Honestly, a lot of people don't like watching Khabib's fights. But to be honest, I don't mind watching Khabib, to be honest with you. I really don't. I know it's different, because, you know, Khabib instantly will take it to the ground. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think Khabib has an incredibly fun fighting style.
I think Khabib is fun to watch. I think Khabib can be fun to watch. I don't think this is boring to, like, in and out European style boxing. You know, like, I think that's a lot more boring than watching someone on the ground. I think sprawling on the ground, you know, if you're a wrestler or a jiu-jitsu guy, can be really fun to watch in the MMA. At least for me.
Definitely, I feel the same way because he's just so dominant, and also it's not even like he doesn't do anything on the ground. Like, there's some guys like
literally lay on you.
Yeah, there's Colby Covington's a guy who will just lay on you. Colby Covington does the wall install like style of fighting.
Dude, heavyweights a couple years ago. Heavyweights like in 2015, 2014. Do you remember watch heavyweight fights? They went to the ground. They were just on there for minutes and minutes on end.
That was Curtis Blades at the start of his UFC career, man. I remember watching Curtis Blades I remember it was an Australian card, I believe. It might have been, I couldn't even tell you which card it was, but it was like a wall, never mind, it was UFC 213. I believe Whitaker was fighting, Whitaker Romero, and I remember he fought on the main card opener against some guy, and he just walled and stalled for 15 minutes, and I almost killed myself.
Oh, I don't blame you. Dude, but I mean, who do you think's a better wrestler, Kobe or Kamaru? That's a good question.
Better overall wrestler, I think Kamaru. I mean, Colby, he's a great guy in terms of keeping you on the fence, he's really good at winning the hand battles, positioning. However, Rafael dos Anjos took him down. You know, he's not the greatest guy at getting people to the ground. He's more style is just to get you to the fence and keep you there and throw tons of body shots, tire you out, make you work. Kamaru actually goes for takedowns and gets them. Kamaru Usman took down Tyron Woodley like 4 times